So one of my ideal outcomes for the year of advancement is to read more articles. And I've found that I can do that better if I have articles on a tablet in front of me rather than having them printed out. It just seems to go more smoothly. And in order to help myself get more articles, I wanted to automate the process of getting article PDFs off of the journals that I'm interested in and into my OneNote folder. Turns out there is not an app or a script out there that will take articles from an RSS feed and just drop them into OneNote. So I've made something that does most of that. I've set up a Jupyter notebook here on Google Colab that searches an RSS feed for recently published PDFs, compiles them all into a single PDF, and then I can just take that one compiled PDF, click and drag it into OneNote, and it will add all of them there, and I can just pick that up and read it. And the whole thing takes about 2 to 3 minutes to do. I enjoyed putting this together because it required me to pull in a lot of different libraries. So you see I've got 4 different libraries here that I had to find out that they did the thing that I wanted them to do, find out how to use them, find out how to use them most effectively for my purposes, and then string them all together. So it's been a pretty fun project, and I wanted to share this with you both as an example of the type of cool non-data processing things that you can do with Python, and as a tool to share with you for your own benefit if you're trying to read more articles too. So the link for this Jupyter Notebook will be available in the description below. You just click on File, Save a Copy and Drive, and you can use it. The primary content of this notebook is this scraping function here, get RSS, where we provide a link to an RSS feed and the date that we last ran this function, because I don't want to necessarily pull all of the articles that are listed in the RSS feed. I want the ones that I haven't downloaded yet. And so we just have to take note of what the last date was. So since we're saving this as a Jupyter Notebook, I can save that, that value farther down when I call the function. So the ultimate goal of this function is to create a list of articles that we want to download, right? So we're going to put this all underneath a try block here. Try just means go line by line down this code, and when you run into an error, go to the except block. So this except here, as soon as it runs into an error up here, it's going to stop doing the try, it's going to go to the except, and it's going to give us some information. This is just a way of handling any errors that come up, because this is like I said, there's 4 libraries being put together to pull something off of somebody else's website. There's all kinds of unexpected things that might go wrong, and that's okay. We just get to fix it later. I should also mention that I'm using this for a particular RSS feed. You'll want to adjust this based on the RSS feed that you are looking at. In fact, why don't we pull up the RSS feed? So the one that I'm interested in here is the feed for Physical Review, Physics Education Research. This is their RSS link here. So if you open the RSS feed, this is what it looks like. And so what you'll want to do if you're adapting this for a different journal's RSS feed, you'll want to adjust, the names of the stuff. So like they might call it title, they might call it content, they might call it article. But basically you look through each of the items here. So we're going to be trying to pull the information from these items. So for example, each article has a link here. That's the link that will take you, for example, to the main article page. So this one would take you to the main article page on development and validation of a conceptual survey instrument to evaluate students' understanding of thermodynamics. Now the article is not on this page, right? I have to click on PDF here to get that. So we will have to change this original link into this link in order to get the PDF. They list the article's title, which is great because then I can compile those titles later for me to review, just to get an idea of what's in the latest PDF. They give the link again here. This is where we'll actually pull it from. They give a description here, which is the list of the authors, and then looks like the title and maybe an image URL, it looks like. So I could try to pull out the author list there. I think I'd do that later. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, they actually have this down here as DC:creator, right? So they might call it creator, they might call it author. You'll need to change the names of those tags in the Jupyter Notebook based on your RSS feed. But you can see they've got all the information you might want to pull here, like the volume number. Like maybe I want to write a code that pulls the citation information. I could use this to assemble the citations for each of them. So as we go through this function, just keep in mind that this is the stuff that we need to be looking at and thinking about as being the stuff that we are pulling. Okay, so we'll pull this in from the RSS feed. So this is where we use request.get to literally just get this web page. So request.get is going to take this URL that I've given farther down in the notebook cell, and it's going to just read in all that text. So R is going to contain all of that text. Then what we want to do is extract the actual items, right? Because there's a lot of stuff in here that I don't need, right? I don't need this RDF XMLNS stuff up here, right? I don't even necessarily need this stuff because this has the links, but it doesn't have all the title information, etc. I want this thing to start looking for the items, right? Because I have item here, item here, item here. So that's what beautiful soup here extracts, is it extracts stuff from the soup here, the XML, and makes it beautiful. I assume that's what it means. I just know that this does the thing I want it to. I haven't really read up on how it works. But basically this takes all of that content and it splits it up into the items. And so we're going to have a list here called articles where we are where we have pulled out all of the items here, right? So this articles here, this is going to have all of these items that we're able to pull off of here. So everything that starts with an item tag on the XML page, it's going to read in each of those as a separate object, which is great, right? So now I have all the information that I need in this thing called articles, okay? So our next main goal is to check the dates, right? Because I only want to add articles that have been added since the last time I ran this, since the last time I pulled articles. I don't really want them doubling up, right? Because the RSS feed, I think it holds something like 200 articles. This one does. Yeah, this one holds 200 articles. I would like to run this more often than once every 200 articles, right? I'm planning to run this once, I think every other week, at least once a month, probably every other week. And so we want to check the dates. We want to check, have I already pulled this article, right? So we're going to loop over all the articles. So A is going to be shorthand for each individual article that's in here. And we just need to start pulling their information. So for example, we're going to pull the title, right? What is the title of this article? Then we're going to pull the link, right? This is the link, not to the PDF, but to the landing page here, right? And so what I need to do is convert this link for the landing page into this link for the PDF. If you'll notice, the thing that really matters is this article number here, and I think this is that the issue number 1103. I think that's the same for all the articles. Let's check on yeah. Okay, yeah. So 10.1103, that just ties into this particular journal, and this gets me it looks like that's probably the issue number and the page number. Yeah, 17010104, 17010104. So this is the citation information that ties it to this particular article. So what I need to do is change all the stuff before that from this format into this format, right? There's a little bit different ordering. It has this PDF right here. So in order to do that, we're going to use the replace function. So replace looks through a string of text, and it says anywhere you find this subset of text, I want you to replace it with this subset of text, right? Because that's where they differ, is everything before this PDF here. Everything after that is the same, right? If you go back here, the 10.1103 slash physrev, physeducrest, etc., that's all the same. It's the stuff before that needs to be different. So we're just going to change the header of the link there so that now we go from the link to the PDF link, because with this in the front, we will now get to the actual PDF and we can then download it. Next, we're going to check on the published date. So this is called DC:date. Again, it might be different in the RSS feed that you're looking at. And so we then have to convert that to let's see, we need to convert that to year, month, date format. I'm really not interested in the time that it was published. So we are going to look for just the date to pull that off there. So we're stripping just the date off of there. We're going to record the list of authors for using in our index later. Then we're going to ask the question, was this article published since the last time we pulled articles using this function? And so we're just going to evaluate a Boolean. The first thing we need to do is count the number of days between when we last made a pull and when this article was published. Right? So if the last pull was before when this was published, then that number of days will be a negative number. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I want this to be less than or equal to 0, just on the very slim chance that an article is published the day that I run the pull, right? If I run the pull at 8 a.m. and then an article gets published to the RSS feed at noon, I want that to be able to count there. So we'll make that a less than or equal to. I doubt that's going to happen too terribly often, but you always want to catch those exceptions. So this thing will be true if this thing was published since the last poll. It will be false if it was published before the last poll, meaning we already pulled it. So if we're published since the last poll, then we're going to record all that information in a dictionary, right? So this is the dictionary format where you get to say, here is the dictionary entry's title, link, PDF link, published, and author's information, and here is all that information that we recorded. Then we're going to download that PDF, and we need to clean up the file name because some of the file names will have colons, slashes, etc. We want to avoid that because those are illegal characters for storing a file name. So we're going to give it the download name of the title of the article just so that we can identify it easily, right? Because when you download them, they have these, let me just hit save here. So when I download these, it is all of this stuff, right? That doesn't really tell me anything. So we're going to download it as the title so that we can easily identify it if we need to, but it's going to replace all those illegal characters that we're not supposed to have. Okay, so we're going to give that the download name. So this block of code here just downloads it and adds it to the list of stuff to be compiled because we need to download each individual PDF and then we can compile them together into a single file. Next, we come to compiling the PDF. This was another library that I had to bring in, was this PDF file writer. And so what we're going to do, we're going to read in all those PDFs and just keep adding them to the file that we want to write, and then we're going to write that out here to our output stream. We're giving the output file, the name of the date that we're on right now, just so that I can easily see, okay, this is all the PDFs that I pulled on this date, right? Finally, we're going to create a text file that just has all of the article information so that I can easily copy and paste that into my OneNote so that I can do a text search for, say, the title of this article, or maybe I want to find all of my Chandralekha Singh articles. Then I can just easily search for those terms and find where they are in my notebook. So this is just going to write a text file where we put in the article's title, the link, the authors, and the publication date. And don't forget your new line character here at the end, otherwise it just all ends up running together. Okay, so when all that works, here is where we actually call the function. So we have to put in the date of the last pull. So in order to help me do that consistently, I've put in a print statement here that says that we finished the scraping process and we need to update date of last pull to today's date. Right now gives you today. And so I just have to copy and paste this thing from here into here. There's probably a fancier way to do that, to write it to a file or something, but this is fine. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll hash out the current one and then copy and paste it with the new date, right? So that I've got a list of when I pulled these, just in case I need to go back and run something for a particular day or something. But that should be all right. Okay, so let me run this for you to see how this works in practice. So I've put in the date of the last poll. The last time I ran this was on February 1st. That was 4 days ago. at the time of this recording, so I don't know whether we'll get any new articles, but it will tell me how many were new so that I know what's going on. So let's click run here. The first time you run it, it will take probably about a minute because it has to mount your Google Drive, and it has to install some of these libraries that aren't standard in Google Colab. There we go with the installation. Okay, cool. So the scraping job succeeded, 200, checking dates, found 100 articles. I'm not sure why it's 200 and 100 here. It's not significant, but I'm wondering why those are different. But I did not find any new, right? So I can go back and now I can update my date of last poll here to the 5th, right? Because that is the day I'm recording this video. There were no new articles, so I don't have a file to share with you. But what I might do for demonstration purposes, let's suppose I wanted to go back and get caught up on all the articles since January 1st. Right, let's pretend I haven't run this since January 1st. Now I'll click Run Cell. It will be shorter this time because it's already installed PyPDF2 and it's already mounted my Google Drive. And now what you can see, it's actually printing all of the articles that it is adding. Right, so it's downloading and then it gives the title. That might be helpful to you, it might not. You know, it's nice to see that progress, so you know it's not stuck. And here it tells me that there are 4 new articles. So now when I go over to my files, I'm going to see that I've got each of those PDFs, and I have the combined PDF here and my article text file here. So what I'm going to do is download this file, and I think I can download both of these at the same time. Yeah, there we go. That one finished. Let me see. I'm going to open these in my downloads folder here. So what you'll find out, sort by date modify, there we go. So what you'll find out here is when you double click on this combined PDF, you're going to get all of the articles in one PDF. So here we've got the validation conceptual survey of thermodynamics. I can read through that article. And then when that one finishes, I go straight into the next one. And then when that finishes, I go straight into the next one, right? So I've got 4 articles compiled into a single PDF. So what I do next is head over to OneNote, where I create a new page. We're going to call this articles pulled for video because I already have these in another page here. And then what I'm going to do is paste in all the article information. So I'm going to open my text file, Control-C to copy, Control-V to paste. Now I've got that text in here, right? So I can now search based on that article info when I want to come back to find this stuff. Then I'm going to take the combined PDF and I'm just going to click and drag it into my OneNote. And I'm going to ask it to insert as printout. Depending on how large your PDF is, this might take a minute, but eventually it will insert a printout of this thing where you're going to have pages inside the OneNote file. Cool, there's my PDF. So now what I can do when I want to go read these articles, I just open my OneNote page here, and I just start with the top. Let's hit Control Home to actually get to the top. And now I can just read these. I can mark them up with my OneNote, so I might go through and highlight some important sentences. I might write some notes off in the corner here. And now I've got all the articles that I need to read for this week or this month there in a single OneNote file so that I can easily navigate them. So thank you so much for watching. I had a lot of fun building this project. If you find this helpful or if you've got improvements to make to it, please share a link in the comments below to your updated version of this script. I would love to see what you do with this. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.